So here's the deal. You need a job, and you'll be out of work in a few weeks. The Johnsons are ready to go with their kitchen remodel, but just when you were about to shake on the deal, they said, "We'd like to get another bid or two." Well, okay. But then the downtown flooring store rep says, "We had a return on the exact hickory flooring you wanted for the Johnson job. It's 30% off if you buy it tomorrow." Dang. If that's not enough, your daughter's soccer game is in 2 hours. And when you left this morning, she gave you an angry look and said, "Do not miss this one." And you were like all miffed. "What? Of course not. Where did that come from?" But now, dang. Here's where Exact Remodel makes the difference between surviving and thriving in this tough business. You start by logging in to Exact Remodel by going to exactremodel.com and clicking Sign In. You click New Project. You are now in your new estimate, starting with the summary screen. You go to Client Info and click Edit. In the Client Info window, you give the project a name, enter customer information, and click Done. Next, you move to two fields that have an important impact on the total cost. First, you change the tax jurisdiction to 8.75%. The markup for this job requires some thought. You need this job to keep your crew busy. You have some top talent and don't want to give anyone a chance to hire them away. So it's worth it to you to have work, even if the profit isn't the greatest. So you have lots of motivation to close the deal as soon as possible. When you are finished with the estimate, you'll revisit this field, but for now you leave it at your normal 22%. Your next step is to draw the floor plan. You click Studio to get the plan drawing screen. You want more room to draw, so you click the hamburger menu to collapse the side menu into icons. You could also click the full screen button. To get a zoomed-in view, you click the Zoom In tool 3 times. You start by selecting the Room tool. The Johnson's kitchen is 16 feet 4 inches by 14 feet 8 inches. To start a room, you click and drag until you have the dimensions of the room. You don't worry if your dimensions aren't perfect. You can edit those later by clicking them. The kitchen has a framed pantry in the corner with cabinets on both sides. There is also a small coat closet. To draw the coat closet, you click the square break tool. Move it along the wall until you reach 4 feet 5 inches and click. That gives you a break in the wall. You click and drag the wall until you have a coat closet that is 3 feet 6 inches deep. To keep the existing wall between your new coat closet and the kitchen, you tap the plus button. If you deselect the closet and the plus button disappears, you just click the undo icon or hit escape and start again. Next, you add the pantry by selecting the wall tool. You click to start your first pantry wall at 5 feet 4 inches. Then you click and draw a perpendicular wall 3 feet 3 inches to your right. Now you add a diagonal wall that is 3 feet 2 inches on the outside dimension and finish with the final wall. You are finished with the walls in this kitchen. Next, you will add doors to this room, starting with an exterior door. You add an exterior door by selecting the doorway icon. You add a 3/0 door by clicking and dragging the door on the wall. Again, if you don't get it just right, you can click to change dimensions. Next, you use the flip tool to get the swing correct and click the properties icon. You change the type to paneled and close the window. Now you add a door that leads into the adjoining living room and the doors on the pantry and coat closet. Next, you add the exterior windows. Just as with doors, you can click the spot on the wall where you want to add the window and edit the window. Or you can click and hold the wall and then drag the window to the correct size. Now you change the names on the plan to Pantry, Kitchen, and Closet. You rename this floor plan Kitchen Remodel 1 by clicking Floor Plan 1 and then the 3 dots menu. You choose to rename the plan, type the new name, and press Enter. Now you are ready to enter items into your estimate. You click the hamburger icon to expand the side menu. Under Estimate, you click Kitchen Plan 1. You see a list of quick estimates. You can choose from these pre-built quick estimates that have a list of items typically needed, or you can choose single items that can be entered one at a time. You are estimating an L-shaped kitchen with an island. You see that option as you start to type kitchen in the search, so you choose that quick estimate. Quick estimates will rarely exactly match the estimate you are putting together, but they are an enormously powerful time saver. They help you start with the vast majority of items you will need, and they make sure you don't forget important items in your bid. Most importantly, they allow you to estimate by exception. It is faster for you to quickly edit, delete, and add items that don't apply to your job. This quick estimate contains a comprehensive list of items. You click Details to review those items and to see a preliminary price. You can also change the quality level to see how that impacts the price. And you can scroll down to see the list of items that will be added to the estimate. You change the quality to high and click Check to add the items to your estimate. Your estimate items appear in the area to the right of the screen. Totals are calculated based on the measurements of the kitchen. Now you estimate by exception to fine-tune your bid. There's no framing needed in this remodel, so you delete the framing items by clicking their three dots menu and selecting Delete. You also don't need rough-in plumbing, and we don't need outlets and switches, so you delete those line items. You need one premium-grade light fixture, so you click that item, change the quantity to 1, and click the check icon to save. The quick estimate includes items for the tile floor. The existing kitchen has tile floor that will be torn out, but the Johnsons want to go back with a solid wood floor. So you don't delete the tile floor covering item. Instead, you double-click to get the Edit Item window, change the activity to Remove, and click the check icon to save. You delete the cement board line item using the three dots menu. You also delete the shelving installation and shelving painting items, again using the three dots menu. And you delete the HVAC ductwork item. You have some heat registers in this room, but they are floor registers and not mechanically attached, so you also delete that item. Now you need to add a few items. First, you add those floor registers. You click the Single Item tab, then type Heat Register. You click the item that has floor registers in the description. This is the correct register, so you change the quantity to 3 and click Add. Next, you will add that hickory wood flooring that you're hoping to get for a discounted price. As you type pre-finished solid wood flooring, suggested items appear. You click to select, then click Details. First, you change the activity from Remove and Replace to Supply and Install. Next, you consider the discount you've been offered for the hickory flooring. This will help you lower your bid, and it will give you leverage with the homeowner to make a fast decision. You click the Components tab to see what is needed to install the hickory floor. Under the Pre-finished Solid Wood Flooring Material item, you click the unit price and enter a lower cost. You still have some markup in the new cost, but it will help you to make your estimate more competitive. You click the check icon to save and add to your estimate. You've entered all your items, but you take some time to review your estimate. The sink and faucet will be hauled out with the old countertop, for example, so you change both of those items from Remove and Replace to Supply and Install. With plenty of time to spare, you have a solid estimate. Now you return to the summary screen and think about markup. It's a straightforward job with what feels like a reasonable homeowner. So you may still be able to make some money with reduced markup that helps you win the job. You reduce the markup to 18%. Exact Remodel checks to see if you really want to change the pricing. You say you do, and the estimate is updated. Once the work is complete, you go to Reports and select Proposal. In that screen, you check the tab to Separate Sales Tax and click the Apply button. You want the Johnsons to see that cost. You are 15 minutes ahead of schedule and make the soccer game on time. You download the estimate and email it to the Johnsons. You also call the Johnsons as you're headed to the game and discuss the job and the discounts. They want some time to think about it, but you're pretty sure you got the job. Even the guy that cuts you off, that made you sit several minutes as he waited to turn left, doesn't get on your nerves. Much. Okay, so your daughter was more interested in catching up with her friends than playing defense. But it was a big win when she said, "Dad, you're the best." And that was even before you offered to buy the team ice cream. To top it off, the Johnsons called while you were still at the ice cream place. You couldn't hear too well, but you did hear, "We can't wait to get started. And bring by the contract for signatures tomorrow."